Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Donald Trump, and I am saying stop this podcast now. The last podcast is the last thing that you needed to know about. Any more podcasts are irrelevant.
Yes.
Bang out of order, mate.
Where did all these other podcasts
I'm Joe
come from?
Biden coming in. Bang out of order. Let's bang out of order, Trump. Can't believe you did that.
I'm sorry. Cancel the count, I say.
Cancel it.
Cancel
but
the
then
count.
also do the count as well at the same time.
Everybody do the count.
Do the count at the same time as cancelling it, because some of them might want you to count.
But only count the ones that count.
Yes, listeners, we're coming at you live from the heart of the election drama. Over here in London, we are reporting that Nevada is close to giving Biden the presidency, but it's tight. Biden's on 49.3% and Trump's on 48.7%, with still 25% of votes counted to go. Who's going to come out on top? Stay tuned.
This is going to be so out of date when it's released.
Well, for the keen listener in the very far future, they would be part of history because they're like, oh,
Yeah, it's
this
true.
episode was recorded in the balance.
I know
Very
where I
true.
was when they were doing that.
Before the riots.
Right now, we are assuming that Biden's going to get in, and we are hoping it, but let's see.
Well, you never know, do you?
I think...
Who bloody knows?
has Biden ever been in a movie? Trump was in Home Alone 2. Has Biden ever been in a film that will come back to haunt him in his
That's why he's
presidency?
not winning the election by a landslide. He's
You
not
reckon?
been in a film.
Was Barack Obama in a film? No.
I feel like he has been. He's been in 2 TV series.
What?
One called Dog with a Blog, and then Vlog Boys.
He's got shit taste, man. He needs a new agent.
But he's also been in 326 things as himself, so he could have been in a film. Who knows?
Yes. Trump's always going to have that. They can't take that away from him. He was always in Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Through the lobby, by the elevator, or something like that, he says.
Yes.
Down there, first that thing on the right. Something like that.
Should have got the Oscar.
Can I also ask, why does Donald Trump think that putting out a promotional video of himself dancing to YMCA is a good idea? Have you seen it?
Really? What, recently?
Go on
Yeah,
his
he actually
Twitter
tweeted
page. It was for the longest time his pinned tweet. It's
It was a
3
parody
minutes.
at first. People thought he was taking the piss.
I know. And then it's like, well, this is genuine. He actually thinks this is going to get him votes. He's dancing as badly as Theresa May did. America, this may be your next president. He is your current president, so you're pretty fucked up out there, boys and girls.
Then he'd end up in jail.
There is one final thing on that. When you look at the map, right, all the blue states to the left and right of the US, yeah, and in the centre, all the red, which to be
Yeah.
expected, generally speaking, to be expected. When you look at the coronavirus deaths map, right,
Oh, shit.
it reflects the highest deaths are in all those states that have voted for Trump, and the lowest
course.
are in all those that have voted for Biden.
Of course.
See, they
Think
tried
about it.
doing... But is it not based on population density, though?
Yeah, but the middle America is the least dense. It's dense
Yeah,
out
true.
in like California and New York.
Everyone
and
goes to the
shit.
coast.
Yeah.
Maybe it's dense in other ways.
Well, thank you. But I hope that our contrarian brothers aren't listening, because you have just called them dense because they're in Texas.
Are they in Texas?
They are, but their county was one of the few, because they're in Austin. I think they're in Austin. Their county was one of the few that voted overwhelmingly for Biden. Well,
I'm pretty sure they're pro humanity.
Yes.
We love you, contrarians.
Welcome to Film Busters.
Oh yeah, roll that theme tune. Right, it's been a little bit of a break. We've had many guests. It's never been us three for a while.
Everyone's forgotten what we sound like as a threesome.
It's nice to be back. I feel like this is the first time we've ever done this. It feels quite fresh.
This feels like a reunited episode.
It feels like a reboot.
And it feels so good.
I knew you were going to do that, Adam. That's why I said it as well.
Thank you. Do you want to team me up for any more songs?
Okay, what about if I said, you know how excited I am right now about
You
having
just
this...
can't hide it.
Well, that. And then here's the next one. Fuck this. Anyway, you're easy to prompt with the songs, is what we're saying here. The people haven't come for this election and song talk. They want to know
haven't.
what's going on with the quiz, because it's been so long.
Oh yes.
But before we get to that, what episode are we doing this week?
Today we are talking about the killing of a sacred deer. It is my choice. I'm very excited to talk about it, as always, no matter what film it is, because it's with my great friends, Ben and Adam, and guests sometimes.
Bless this.
Bless this boy. But yes, today, first, we've got to do the staple of the episode, which is the quiz. Do you want to roll it? Roll it? Do you want to roll with it?
Shall I roll with it? You got to roll with it. You did the wrong song. You should have sung Oasis Roll With It then, Adam. So
Yeah, I know, but
are
you
off the
said
boil.
roll with it after I started going with rolling.
Please don't make this an episode where Adam just sings.
Yes, no more singing. But Adam may have reason to sing soon because let's fill everyone in on what the scores are in the quiz at the moment. Adam, you're still singing. That's so irritating. After the last couple of episodes, Adam has steamed back up the charts. We thought he was down and out, and now as we close in towards the end of the year, there's a very real chance he could take this, but not yet. At the moment, I'm up top with 21 points. Paul is second with 19, and Adam is third with 18. So whatever happens here today,
17.
people could be jostling and moving in position.
Yes,
So I've
indeed.
got two lovely questions for you boys.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and I think both of them, because I do believe that maybe my past questions were too obscure or maybe a bit too hard. Both of these require you to apply yourself, but aren't too complex. So let's see. They both relate to the killing of a sacred deer. And here is question number 1. In the killing of a sacred deer, what is Martin and his dad's favourite film?
Groundhog Day.
Oh, fuck!
You got it!
Thank you.
That's Paul's first point in months.
Hell yeah, boy.
First point in months.
Literally on the tip
Is
of
it
my
though?
tongue.
Is it months?
Few weeks.
Has it
honey.
been months? Has it been months?
No, it's been.
Yeah, it's been a
it
couple
has
of weeks.
been months. You haven't scored a point since Jason X, I don't believe. Very good. He got the point, Adam. You need to
Yes.
be very quick off the mark, my son. Here's the question. In the killing of a sacred deer, what gift does Martin buy for Kim, Colin Farrell's daughter?
A music note keyring thing.
Oh, he was quick off the mark as well.
Was it? I was thinking, a music note keyring?
That's exactly what it is.
I thought it was like a tuner.
No, son. He buys her the music note because she likes singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was like a
It
tuner or
had like a
something. to
keyring
get you in
attached to the
tune.
top of it.
No, it's a music. It's a. I don't know what you call it. A music note. I've written down here music notes keyring, and Adam got it exactly. Isn't that funny? Well, look at that. It's made
Look at
things
that.
even more interesting because you both get a point,
We're
and
creeping
we're
up-
all
we're
real
creeping on,
bunched
Ben.
up. I'm up top still with 21, but Paul's in second with 20, and Adam's in third with 19. So literally, all to play for.
We're just creeping.
We're all within 2 points of one another.
Creeping and creeping and creeping.
If I'd asked you this question, what would you have said? What gift does he buy Colin Farrell's son, Bob?
It's one with football on it, isn't it, or something?
No, it's not. And you never see it. He only says it very quickly after he gives the
Yeah,
daughter
he
the
says, I bought
keychain.
you one because I know you like this.
Fuck knows, I can't remember.
Smiley face keychain.
Oh yeah.
You must be very
What was it?
attentive.
It was a
over here.
keychain. It was a keychain.
They're both keychains.
Hmm.
Paul is going to contest this like Trump.
Yes.
Stop the count, he'll say.
Stop it.
Stop the count.
Stop the questions.
He'll come back and do us in about a week's time when he's done enough research.
And I'll be like, it was not a keychain.
Yeah. That has happened in the past, though, with the hair. It's always Paul who is objecting to these things.
I am Trump.
You are Trump, and Adam is Biden.
He did it with, what's the name, Harlequin's hair.
That's it.
Remember that? He took that to the polls and Twitter.
We did, and I was correct.
It did well because here we are. We're all within 2, so well done.
Right, should we get on to the main event?
The main event.
I want to talk about this Killing of a Sacred Deer film.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, guess what? That's what we're doing next.
Should we roll that theme tune?
Please.
The main event. Here is our feature topic, plus Adam might do a rubbish plot summary.
Are you fucking serious?
Right, guys, so today we are talking about the killing of a sacred deer, the Yorgos Lanthimos film from 2017. I just had to check there. But this is a spoiler episode. We will be doing spoilers. Won't be hanging around talking about non-spoilers, straight into spoilers. So you haven't seen it, go watch it, come back. But first of all, Adam, you've got to do a really, really probably crap plot summary.
Alright. So this film here... Well, I don't know how much I want to give away in this plot summary, because it's a lot of twists and turns in this. I can give you the basic idea of the film. It's about a kid who's befriending a doctor. And they're like little buddies, and then he gets to introduce into his family. But then stuff starts going a bit more tits up from there, and you find out why.
Well,
Well, that is true.
Yeah. I mean that's a very basic one. It's going to be very complicated. So we're probably
that's
going
like the Chavs version of a plot summary.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
a
want to give
tweet.
much more
That's
away
a
at the moment.
tweet.
It goes tits up, mate.
Before we do give our reviews, there is a word that neither of you can say because I forgot about doing this.
Oh yes.
If either of you say this word, you're deducted a point. But if neither
What's
of
the
you,
word?
Yeah, exactly. You can't be told. But if neither of you say the words, I'll be deducted a point. So it's very possible that you and I could be on the level, Paul.
Oh.
I have the word here, and we'll go do it on the honour system.
I hope it's in an envelope.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay, so it's my film, so I get to decide who goes first with their first impressions, and I'm just going to go first with the first impressions.
Oh,
If
are
that's
you?
okay with you two? Yes,
Okay.
I'm just going to go for it. So, I very much enjoy Yorgos Lanthimos. He's very much like an auteur in his field. The way he does his films, they all have like some mad world these characters live in. They say outlandish things that are just considered the norm in those worlds, and in like the nicest way possible. Everyone almost sounds like they have autism because they're just like there's no boundaries.
I'm very
or,
glad
like,
you said that word.
It is.
We'll talk afterwards.
Yeah, there's like no fear of like consequences or boundaries, and what they're saying is very matter of fact. And I dig that. I like it. It's like oddly captivating and like feels very like otherworldly, kind of. And the Killing of a Sacred Deer was no different. It's oddly amusing in places, disturbing, dark, bizarre, and it left me quite lost for words on my first watch. Anyway, and I love the cinematography. I love like the high shots and like the placing of the shots. They're very nice. Like I like how people are like they're never center. They're kind of like always off center, and like the camera like tracks them and stuff. Is really nice shots, and I think it's beautiful and disturbing. And I give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Holy moly!
Holy moly!
Motors.
Fantastic, Adam. I guess I get to choose who goes next.
Yes.
You do. Why are you being so softly spoken today? You sound like
me?
you're about to pass away or something. So you're
Who, me?
giving us your last. Yes, it's like you're giving us your last will and testament.
I don't know. I'm a softly spoken person today.
Well,
Ben can go next.
I'm glad you used the word autism and matter of fact because both of those terms are the terms that kept coming up in my mind while I was watching that film. They all struck me as if they were autistic, and matter of fact is exactly the term that I use to describe how they all speak to each other in this film. Like, from the off, everyone is so disconnected and distant and robotic in the way that they talk to one another. It's like they are a family and they are friends, but you only know it because of the words they say. The way they say it is just without any emotion. It's emotionless. It is matter of fact, you're right. But that's a huge fucking problem for me because it was almost as though the entire film was under that sort of spell. The whole film was distant and dispassionate and like under anaesthetic itself. It was like the whole film was anaesthetized, and it's not a good thing. I come to a film not necessarily to always be flashbang wallop entertained, but I need to feel something and connect with something. I wasn't entertained and I didn't feel nothing. I was neither of those things. And yes, Yorgos Lanthimos films things very nicely. He does. Nice camera angles, nice wide angles, fish-eyed lenses. That's all great. But he failed totally to give me any sort of story or any sort of performance from the cast that I could hang a good opinion on. So, by the time I've watched 2 hours of characters that aren't really connecting with one another, that aren't giving me any reason to care about what's going through their lives, I'm at this stage where I'm like, well, what have I just watched this for? What am I even to take from this? I've managed to scrap some bits of meaning together from it, but not much. And it's also like, I don't really care to understand too much more about it, because there was nothing in the film that made me care about anything that was going on, even the central mystery. It was a very similar vibe to Burning, but Burning enticed me more because I kind of cared about how that was going to end, whereas this, I knew halfway through kind of how it was going to end and I didn't care. So for me...
Interesting.
For me, this was... And I'm looking forward to talking about it nonetheless, because I disliked it so much. This is a 5 out of 10 film.
Whoa.
Well,
But I'm glad that you brought it up so we can have this conversation.
yes.
Okay.
It's definitely a lot to discuss.
I guess it's me then.
It's all on you.
I'm going to kind of agree with both of you on this so far. First of all, it took me a while to get round to how they spoke, and it was kind of almost off-putting, and it kind of makes you disengage from the film, because it's statements that they talk in, isn't it? It's like bam, bam, bam. Like, there's no emotion with it, like you said. They just talk, and that's it, and that seems to be the end of that. Like, but as the film went on, I kind of slowly slipped more and more into it, and it felt completely normal. And as the film got on, kind of by the end of the film, you didn't even notice it anymore. Like, it just felt so normal. But it's so well done. It's so well shot. It lacked something as a killer punch. I can't quite put my finger on it yet, but maybe discussing this will kind of work it out through it. But overall, I very much enjoyed this film, and I probably want to watch more films by him, and I'll give it 8 out of 10.
Well then, this is going to be a Whiplash episode.
Just Ben's going to repeatedly say, "Why did you like it so much?
Did
you like it so much? What was it you liked about it?"
Can I start with the one question?
Yes, go on.
Go for it.
So,
Why did you like it so much?
when I was watching this, Jenny came in to watch the last 20 minutes of it, right? And that's an odd bit of the film to come and watch, obviously.
Definitely.
But I said I'm going to be very interested to hear from Paul whether he has picked this film because he thinks it'll be a good discussion point because it's such a strange experience, or because he really likes it. So the fact that you've given it an 8 out of 10 and you really like it, now I want to know, why do you like it so much? And don't say nothing about the way it looks visually.
No, it's nothing to do with the way it looks. I love the way the characters are. I love the unengaged kind of, they're just robotic living through their lives, and it's such an odd experience, as you say. And I really enjoy just the worlds he creates. It's just, everything's just, the way everyone speaks, it's just so odd and captivating, and it really works for me.
I find that very strange, because I can get that it could work for some people, but that wasn't enough for this film to tell this tale. Like, once you realise that none of them care about each other, it almost seems like they're all so fucking disconnected. It's like, why should I care about the fact that these kids are now slowly going to deteriorate physically? They're going to succumb to some mysterious illness which will eventually kill them. Why should I care? I don't really feel anything for the kids, and I don't feel anything for Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman, because they seem heartless and emotionless. So what's the...
Quite honestly, though, I don't really care about them either. I think it's just fascinating watching these people who are like unemotional and like with even the worst situations, and it's just such an odd experience to see these people dealing with horrific situations, but they're so placid. It's just so odd.
Yeah, they are.
And I really enjoy that.
There's something weird about it. It's like, for the first, I'd say half of the film maybe, I was kind of on the same side as you, Ben. I didn't care about it, but then suddenly I can't even put a finger on it. It just happened, and then it was just like, I'm in this film now. I'm on with this. This is good. Let's go with it.
Like, I think it's oddly funny as well. It's like, because it's so strange, it's like almost comical. Like the scenes where he's talking to they go to that some kind of event, and he's like, "Oh yes, my daughter had her period today," and it's like, "Why are you saying this?" And it's just like, this is so odd, and it's like humorous because it's like it's just so bizarre.
So I thought early on that there was going to be some explanation for why they were the way they were, and I thought what it was going to be was that they all are shooting themselves up with some drug which lowers their inhibitions and means that they speak their mind at all times, and that never came off. So then I was like, well, what's the point in this? Why? What is it saying about these people that they talk that way? What's the point?
I think it is like a statement about
it's
humankind.
almost like a Shakespeare play. It felt like in some ways, like
it's based on a what is it? I think it's a Greek mythology tale or something. I got it somewhere written down.
She writes the
a Greek tragedy called Iphigenia.
When the principal said, "Oh, she got an A+ on it."
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
That's the story it's based on.
But what? At least those would probably have had some heart and emotion. I literally couldn't see the point in this movie. Like, I felt that I wasn't captivated by it. At first I was like, all right, this is odd. And then I was like, okay, it's just going to stay odd.
Yeah, it was an odd interesting.
Yeah, I took the relation to, like, the way they were. It was all very clinical, like he was, like a doctor is, with how they perceive death with a patient. And
right,
just like how the father died, and it's just like, he died. That's just everyday life for a doctor. And I feel like it's almost like that emotion transcends the rest of the film, because that's almost like how the boy felt about, how could you just let my father die and then just let your life go on like nothing happened.
So I could get that makes sense, but then why is every other character in the film like that? Why is the boy whose dad died on the table also like that? I feel
like it's a statement at just how unconnected humankind can be sometimes.
Most certainly. That's kind of that's the only thing I took from it. I thought, okay, this film is telling us a story about people who maybe family and maybe close, but really they're not connected at all. There's no warmth, there's no depth of emotion. It's just like, it's constantly, yes, I'll see you tonight, see you in the morning for dinner. That was very nice. Thank you for that hug.
Yeah.
Without any meaning, and that it takes death or the imminence of death for them to start feeling something, because the only time you see Colin Farrell cry is about 10 minutes before the end, when he has to make the horrible decision of which one he's going to kill. Then it's like, it takes a desperate situation to bring out emotion. It's like, okay, but if that's all you got, I'm out. I needed something more.
It's definitely like a statement about, that's just how we are with the world, how on the news all this horrible stuff's happening around the world, and it becomes you get so accustomed to it and accustomed to the destruction and the horror around the world that, what's the word, you become accustomed to it, and it's just an everyday thing, and it's just taking that raw emotion and using it in more of a blatant way, like all the characters feel that and only that, and it's more like this boy's breached into their life and he wants to change the way that everyone's kind of feeling, even though he feels the same. he sounds like he's autistic himself.
Yeah, him I could kind of get, but the whole family being that way was a bit confusing at first, but it just felt right after a while.
I thought Colin Farrell was great in this.
The kid was great in it. What's his name?
The kid
Barry something or other.
Yeah. Bob. Was it Bob?
He means the kid Martin, right?
Oh, Martin.
Yeah, not the kid from
Barry. Yeah,
not the kid from that Jonah Hill film.
Yeah.
Mid-90s.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah,
that's a Bad Boy film.
Oh yeah,
that's Bad Boy.
Yeah.
Sonny Suljic.
I think because I saw this before mid-90s, so I'll make the connection to this first.
I watched a film earlier in the day called Calm with Horses, and I think Becky did a review on it for us on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. He's in that as well, isn't he?
And he's in that as well, and he was brilliant in that, and he was brilliant in this.
He has a very distinct face, which I think gets him through half of his performances, because he looks so, and forgive me for saying it, because he looks so fucked up in the face. I think that's half the work done for him, because he just rocks up into a role like this, and already you're going, ugh, because it's like, what a peculiar individual. And then he opens his mouth and talks in that peculiar way, and you're like, oh, get away from me.
But he wasn't like that in that Calm with Horses.
He's a hideous man.
He was in Dunkirk as well, Adam.
Yeah, he is. That's my first. I remember him from Dunkirk, and then I think I've seen a couple of seeing him again.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just an interesting film, and it was very well shot. Like, he used every camera angle.
That's
he
not
used
enough.
every camera trick in the book.
There were very clever camera movements, and I totally agree. But obviously, in The Favourite, he did that to excess, and it worked very well. Getting those he has a great way of getting very flat, wide shots that aren't always fisheye lens, but manage to show you like the grand setting. He's very good at that. One of the best shots in this film, I thought, was when the daughter, is singing at the tree, and it slowly. The camera slowly pulls away and turns, and it reveals the tree around her, and she's not moving, and it's almost like a foreshadowing of the fact that she is essentially going to be rooted to the fucking ground and not be able to move later. I like that. That. But like like he says later when he bites his arm and he's like, oh, it's a metaphor. It's like, I get you're trying to be a bit clever here, but it's not clever, because take your visuals away, what you got for me here. There's nothing for me to latch on to.
When I finished watching the film, I was thinking, that was really good. Like, I could possibly give this a 9. And then going over time, they're starting to think a little bit more like it's not really explained why he has this power on people. It's just you're meant to just accept that he can. So it's meant to be like biblical, isn't it? Like,
if you're saying he's got a power, I don't think he's got a power.
All right, so that's the thing that frustrated me, and maybe it shouldn't have, but I was lingering on that too much towards the end. I was like, explain this shit to me. You kind of have
to let it go. You have to let it go and just move on and accept the fact that he's doing this.
Like, that's the only thing I actually cared about. Yeah. So if you're not going to explain that, then that's like, oh, well, then this film's even worse. If they'd given us a good explanation, it could have given this film a 6 or a 7 for me. But the fact that they don't even address that shit, no one at any point is like, what's happening to them? And the fact that he can call her on the phone, like, you've established the mystery. He calls her on the phone, she gets out of the hospital bed, she can walk again, and then he hangs up and she can't walk again. What the fuck's going on there?
It's like he pick and choose when they can walk. He's like, I'll only let you all walk and live again if one of them dies. And like the second that one of them dies, they can all be fine.
Well, see, I've gone with the idea that he poisoned them with the gifts he gave them.
Right.
Yeah, but then that doesn't explain why he can flick it on and off.
Yeah, the flicking on and off is what's weird.
Because it was all very the stronger it went along, the harder it got for them. But like at the beginning, like just like Bob, is his name Bob? I'm just going to call him Bob.
Yeah, it is Bob. Yeah,
he could walk and stop walking at the beginning, and they didn't have like special power that was like, oh, we can turn it on and off. It was just coming and going because it was the early insetting of this disease. And when the girl got it, she could do the same thing, but he couldn't walk still.
But then,
why is she begging him at the end, saying, "Let me walk, and we'll get free"?
Yeah, well, that's because she thought that he did have the power.
Yeah, because they thought he had a power.
But then, hang on, how is it that she's walking at the end then after the brother's killed, after Bob's killed?
Because you don't see it. He's probably given him an antidote for whatever it is.
Oh no, this is too silly.
Why is it silly?
That's a bit of a reach.
The 2 key rings poisoned the children.
You're saying that the reach is not that he's got special powers.
I felt because it's obviously based on that Greek mythology tragedy story or whatever.
Yeah.
That you're just expected to believe that it is religious and it's just a biblical power. Like, he's the devil and Colin Farrell's God, and he's attacking him. Because it's the whole thing of Colin Farrell could be seen as playing God because he's saving people's lives and you're interfering with like creation, aren't you?
I like the ambiguity of how this disease or whatever they got put into them. And I don't mind that it's not explained, because it just adds to the mystery of the whole film. And it does make him feel like he's this all-powerful person who's controlling and pulling the strings. But I think it is simple that he's just poisoned them.
Well, I mean, there's other things, like he...
Yeah, but then that defeats the whole object of, like, just why didn't Colin Farrell just kill him then?
Whether he had supernatural powers or whether he had a antidote to that, right? It make no difference, because Colin Farrell is like, I can't let this kid die, because if he is the cause of it, he either will have the antidote or he'll use whatever special power to bring this one back.
Yeah, I just thought he had some special powers, and it was some and you're meant to accept that the fact that he has these special powers is not really explained.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get along with it.
But that's what I mean. It was annoying. It felt for too long like I'd missed something in the film. I legitimately that it made me think that I had missed out an explanation.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking it all the way through to the end.
I always wanted to rewind the film and just say, because I watched it with Dan and Francis, and I always would say to them, like, did I actually miss something here? Like, you don't want to sound stupid, but at the same time, it's like, you want to know what you feel like you've missed.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted an explanation. I think the film deserved to give an explanation for that, considering it was one of the only things that was mildly interesting about it.
That's fair enough. You need closure.
It's not even closure. It's like it's the only interesting thing in the whole film. If it wasn't for that, it's like I don't get it.
Didn't know.
Let me be a little bit more harsh on this film, right? And tell you what I really think about it.
Oh God, here we go.
This is the truth. This is the truth. What this film thinks of itself is not at all what it is. This film thinks it's quite profound and clever. It's really not. It's pretentious. It's attempting to be clever and failing, but still going, look how clever this is. Look how clever this is. It fails. There is nothing in the film that entices me at all, apart from, how are these kids losing the ability to walk? And then it decides, actually, we're not even going to address that. So it's fucking hollow. It's empty. So what? So Colin Farrell kills one of his kids at the end, and now the rest of his family are walking around. That is bullshit. I'm sorry. It's an empty shell of a film that lacks the confidence to even give you an explanation for some of the shit that it's doing. It's one of the worst I've seen this year.
Wow.
I'm telling you,
You've watched Jesus Rolls, mate.
Jesus Rolls is a fucking masterpiece in comparison. I'm telling you, Jesus Rolls, I felt something. This I felt nothing.
Anything, mate.
We've just got our tagline.
And you two have done nothing to convince me that this film is worthy of an 8 at all.
Because you can't get onto the train in thinking it's an interesting film because of how these characters interact in this world. That is, you've stopped and can't get past that.
You either get it or you don't. You can't explain it.
Piss off. You either get it or you don't. I could say that about Jesus Rolls.
I at no point thought this is a really smart film. I thought this is a very odd film. It's very captivating, but I never thought it was smart and being pretentious. I just thought it's playing on a factor of like
it's got a
unemotion.
pretentious head to it, but in the same way like a Lars von Trier film's got like a pretentious head. Like it feels very arty.
But that's it. It was attempting to. It was trying too hard to be. It does work.
I don't feel like it was being arty. I just think it's
being very arty. Of all the camera angles he's trying to do, he's trying to put
you could say
edge on it.
Any film could be artistic with camera angles.
Yeah, but there's different levels to it.
I'm standing by this because the hard time that we gave Jesus Rolls, and let's use it as a comparison, right? The hard time that everyone on that podcast gave something like Jesus Rolls, at least that shit was interesting, and it told a story.
Interesting. We're not going back into this, but that was not interesting at all. I was bored shitless.
I totally have to agree. It was so boring.
All right, well, we won't get into that. But the way that you all attacked that film, and it was like so matter of fact, this, I'm telling you, I'm not going as hard as I could because I'm waiting on you boys to tell me something more other than, the way that they talk is so odd and peculiar. You just have to go with it, and that makes it a good film.
You can't accept the fact that you either enjoy the oddity of it and the surrealism of it, or you don't.
But what was it saying? By Journey's End of the film, what is it that makes you go, that was good? What is good about it? What is the thing that resonates with you?
Because it's a really odd, surreal experience that I jumped on board and I really enjoyed it. I love Colin Farrell in it. I love how this world was created and what he crafted with the story. I enjoy this whole relationship between this boy and this man who's slowly over the film you realise that he's killed his dad, and it's really interesting to me.
The plot twist came at the right time as well in this film.
What plot twist?
Well, the fact that you found out he was actually responsible for his dad's death.
I love the staging of it as well.
That's why he doesn't drink.
The staging of this, you don't know who this boy is. You start with Colin Farrell and the boy, and you think, okay, this is his dad. Okay, no, he's not at the dinner table, so he's not dad. Maybe he's a stepson, or maybe he's like a son from another marriage. No, he's not that. Okay, he's giving him gifts. Why is he doing this? And then you slowly, through the story, it's cleverly plotted tiny little Easter eggs into who this person is and why he's in his life. And it's great.
True.
I think it's well done.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I didn't know who he was at first. Along the way, I was like, oh, what's his relationship? Then I thought, okay, he's having sex with him.
Exactly.
And he's keeping him as a dirty secret. But it's like,
I did think that as well.
Okay, and then his dad died on the operating table. That's a relationship. All right, fine. And now this kid's like, I blame you. So now members of your family are going to fall ill unless you kill one of them as justice. And it's like, this is all just too, like... Do you know what would have made this film infinitely better? If the characters were normal and they didn't speak matter-of-factly and dispassionate, if they were normal characters and then this terrible thing happened to them. I think because, for me, I didn't identify with any of these characters. Like, you're saying Colin Farrell gave a good performance. I couldn't tell you because he's just being... they're all being monotone. I don't empathise with any of them. So I don't care that happens. At the end, I didn't care for that situation.
I don't think it would have been a better film if it wasn't in this tone with this odd like way that they're structuring the story and with these characters. If it was normal, I don't think the ending where he's spinning around trying to shoot someone would be good because it'll be no one would do that. It's this odd world that they've constructed that makes that him spinning around shooting a gun work. And this feels so utterly ridiculous. And it is ridiculous, and it works for that reason.
I'm glad it worked for you. It certainly didn't work for me.
I felt like that did add to it, though, the fact that the way they talked.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it creates that world. It creates, I don't know, you get more invested in it.
I got less invested in it the more they spoke like that. You know me that I like dialogue-driven pieces.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the biggest things...
you didn't like this film.
Yeah, but this is not a dialogue-driven piece. In dialogue-driven piece, I want emotion to be conveyed through the words, and this took all emotion out of the words.
If I watched
and
this
just
film,
had the
I
words.
would have said that you would have liked this film.
Nah. Do you know, maybe this director's just not for me, because even The Favourite and The Lobster, they were both 7s for me. Like, this is the worst of his films by no
Lobster's
mistake.
worst.
I haven't seen The Lobster.
No. Lobster at least had an interesting concept of things, but both of them are only 7s for me. His style is not quite for me.
See, I'd say the style of The Lobster, which is pretty much the same kind of in the same vein of this odd world where people say random things, but it annoyed me in that, but it didn't annoy me in this.
This felt like long because of how unengaged I was. I could feel the length. That's always the problem. When I start feeling the length of a film, it's not doing well. Just like Burning. It reminded me so much of Burning in that way.
I love this so much more than Burning.
Adam, what did you give Burning?
I gave it an 8.
So out of these two...
Burning's the better film for me.
Why?
I just prefer it. It's just more interesting.
Burning's so boring.
Burning's not much better than this, but it is better because that when she goes missing, now it's like, okay, what's happening here? And I'm questioning things along the way. The only time I'm questioning anything in this is when they lose their legs. But even then, I was half like, I don't really care. Before they stopped being able to walk, I literally wrote a note down that said, if this film ends with any of the family being killed by Martin, it's predictable. I've predicted it. It's going to happen. So I'm not going to be surprised or feel anything. And then it went along that way.
Feel anything.
No, I seriously didn't.
I'm not going to feel anything.
The thing is with this, what I feel like Burning was better is when the mystery happened, it was more of a mystery. Whereas this, when the mystery happened, and then you see them crawling around on the floor, and it gets a bit weird. And it goes comedy, but it's not funny comedy. It's just like...
It's a real comedy. It's like, it's not laugh out loud. It's more like, this is just so odd. What's happening?
I laughed out loud when he fell out of the bed, though.
Oh, you're silly.
Yeah, you should have been watching some fucking 40 Towers or something instead.
That was quite funny.
Ren and Stimpy.
He tries to warp head first.
Do you know one of the best moments in the film that I really enjoyed was when he gets invited round to what's his name? Martin's house, and the mum's just sitting there, and Colin Farrell's face, he's so awkward. He doesn't know how to act because he knows his mum's trying to come onto him.
Yeah.
I think it's so good. That is a good piece. That is his best piece of acting in that film.
I couldn't really get into it, man. I couldn't get into that. Because
That's
it wasn't
fine.
even like that awkward, was it? It was just he's being the same character that we saw 20 minutes ago talking to his wife, 10 minutes ago talking to his colleague. There was no change or shade in character. He's just the same.
Yeah, I get that, but it worked. I quite liked it.
Didn't work for me.
I get where you're coming from.
Alicia Silverstone in that scene, she was the only person in this film who decided to show up and do a little bit of acting. She was the only one who wasn't sedated. She
It's true,
at least was smiling and stuff, eh?
Yeah, she was. She was.
I wonder why that was.
I know. There's probably a little bit of meaning
she's
behind it.
sucking on his hands. And later Nicole Kidman sucking on his hands. Why are you sucking them filthy surgeon hands? Stop that.
I really do feel like it is definitely something to do with being this sedated doctor who is dealing with death every day, and it's just that little moment has been propelled through the whole cast, and maybe it is something that the mum isn't like that because she is not part of that world where everyone else is part of that world. But that maybe that boy, he's a bit like that because he's kind of interjecting himself into that world and trying to create this chaos within the world. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I like that explanation. That gives it something. Because it's true, people in those sorts of jobs do need to disconnect from what they're doing, otherwise they would collapse within a day or two of doing it.
Yeah.
I knew a vet. I knew. No, it's true. I
knew a vet.
I knew a lady who, as in personally, who was a vet, and someone said to her about putting animals down. Like, since she was an animal lover, how could she do that? Like, how does it make her feel? And she was like, I just have to totally cut off from it and not even treat it, not even engage in an emotional level with the act that I'm doing. I just have to put them down, because if I did that, I wouldn't be able to save them and help them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. But, fine. But I would like the story to have shown me that in a more interesting and engaging way. I dig that that's the sort of mood that's pervaded that whole family, but that wasn't interesting enough for me to watch it, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm. I think there's all little metaphors around this whole film. Like, I noticed as well, something to do with eating the chips.
Eating the chips?
Yeah. He made a point in the film of saying that I always leave the chips till last because they're my favourite.
Which one said that?
This is Martin. Yeah.
Right.
And then the last scene, you see the family sitting in a diner and he's looking over at them, and the little girl eats the chips first.
Right.
I always eat my chips first. Do you guys take it cold?
I eat them first as well. If it's a McDonald's.
I don't eat them all first. I eat some of them.
Eat them along the way, you animals.
No. I'm very methodical with my eating.
You're a fucking psychopath, you are. Colin Farrell is weird with the eating, because then he decides that the way to fix Bob is to shove donuts in his mouth. Eat that donut. You're not leaving till you eat that whole box.
You've run out of energy. I also like the bit where the children they're trying to better one another and trying to explain that, oh, you're going to be the one who gets killed because of this reason. And then Bob goes and cuts his hair because his dad's been asking him to. I also think there's something to do with the flowers. They always keep mentioning the flowers. And I think that might
They keep mentioning the flowers?
Yeah, about watering the flowers. And also Martin brings flowers for Nicole Kidman. But I think that might be something to do with the reason why she doesn't get ill is because everyone else has taken that responsibility apart from her of watering flowers.
Well, whatever it is, if you can keep watching it and find it, great, tell me. But the mark of a good film like this that has this kind of mystery and surrealness, right, is it's got to make you want to go back and rewatch to try and find clues. I have no desire to. If you found it, I would be very interested to hear it, but I have no desire to go back. Like, it doesn't strike me like a Lynch film. So let me go back in now and try and find the meaning. You know.
I don't think there'll be much that you can like get again if you watch it again, because I got a couple of things, but nothing that because I saw the ending coming, so I knew what was happening. But there was nothing that I saw that was like, oh, that's that kind of thing. It was just kind of I just enjoyed it again. It wasn't experiencing it a different way.
Yeah. How did we both feel when Colin Farrell tells Bob that he masturbated his father while he was passed out?
That was so weird.
That was disgusting. I hated to hear it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, do you know what? As I said then, it's like, how could you even come up with that story? That is so weird and disturbing.
And why are you telling it to your son, who suddenly can no longer walk?
Because it's all very clinical.
He's trying to get him to say that he's lying and he's joking.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but why would that happen by him telling that story?
Because he's trying to say, like, I'll tell you this secret now, you just tell me why you're doing this.
Because they're in a world where these kind of things don't matter. It doesn't matter if you feel ashamed about that, because there's no shame. It's just tell it because it's a story.
There is no shame. That's true. That's why they just speak openly about that shit, isn't it?
Exactly, and everyone does it.
That
Even
was so
the
weird,
little
though.
girl's like, "Oh, came my period the other day." It's not like there was any reason for it. She just felt like telling them.
Yes, there was lots of talk about all this. Now, do you think, and I'm being very careful the way I word this so as not to offend any people, because it's not my intention, but do you think you have to be somewhere on the spectrum to potentially enjoy this more?
No.
What do you mean?
On the autism spectrum?
No.
Not really.
Well, I should say
Because that's like saying you can't understand an autistic person unless you're autistic yourself.
Not at all. It's like, no, what I'm saying is that, say, it's a film that very clearly does strike me as being autistic in tone throughout, right? Not quite, and again, I have to be so careful. I don't mean no offense, but as we know, autism is kind of like experiencing the world, but not in the way that most people would, and seeing things slightly differently, experiencing them slightly differently, and feeling alienated because of that. All of the people in this film are exactly that. They're experiencing the world in a way that is different and unusual, and not because of culture or point of view, purely through the nature of who they are. And I wonder if people who suffer from autism would see this film and perhaps identify more with the characters, because
Yeah, you might
I feel that
identify
way.
more, but I don't think to enjoy the film more, you have to be like that.
I think it's definitely one of those films where you either go with the odd style of it or you don't. And if you don't like it, then you'll turn it from as soon as you turn the film on and realise what the hell's going on. Yes. But it is very much like that. It's saying it's autistic. Autism is a slight detachment from like the emotion, really, isn't it? It's like not understanding or not resonating with
or not
emotions that
showing
everyone
it
else
in the
does.
same way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know all the details of it, and I'm sure if Jenny listens back to this episode, she will chastise me because it's her like bread and butter. But like, it is. I know people who have autism, and there's people in my own family who have autism, and there are people who I know who I'm sure have autism but just don't know that they have it. I'm not saying it from a point of shame, because there is such a huge, literally that's why they say on the spectrum, it can be very extreme or it can be very mild. But I definitely would say that all the characters in this, and probably the director himself, as you say, may have it, because his characters are very much of that mindset. But I don't know, it's not a sympathetic piece for them, that's for sure.
No.
And also now then, why does Nicole Kidman and his daughter both act as if they're drugged in order for sexual experiences to happen?
Oh yes, it's very true.
That was weird. It's maybe like he's a surgeon fetish.
I thought more that he's like got a surgical kind of fetish, and I feel like that maybe the daughter has spotted them one time, and then she thinks that is what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
Unless you want to go darker and say that he's abusing the daughter,
No,
but you just wouldn't know.
no.
Oh, you don't like that, no? Well, maybe because they're so dispassionate and emotionless, that's exactly what's happening. But because they don't show any emotion, there's just no evidence for it apart from that tiny scene.
Well, it's true. but there's no evidence to say that.
Piss off.
I do think it's something to do with experience. This is what their parents do, and she doesn't have a fully grasp the idea of what sex is, so she thinks it's something to do with pretending that you under anaesthetic.
So you think it is a surgeon fetish? Yeah, maybe it is.
Yes, definitely.
Because she says to him, Nicole Kidman says to him, general anaesthesia, and then he says general anaesthesia, and then she lies back like that. And at first I thought he was just going to masturbate, but then he got onto her. Well, he was just sitting there masturbating.
It's true. And then she tries to do it again later on in the film, and he wasn't interested. He wasn't in the mood.
Yes. I mean, I've got to say, considering all these things that we're talking about, like, none of the... If you could have heard this podcast before seeing the film, it would not make me want to see the film. All of these things it's all about. It sounds so bad.
It's like, because the film is very unemotional and very, like, detached from emotions, so you can't really say, oh, I love the emotion of it, because there's none.
You know, Paul, I'll tell you something.
Go on.
I'll tell you this for free.
Tell me, please. I don't want to pay for it.
What's happening to your emotions, son? Because this is the second time that you have picked a film where emotion is very cut and distant from the film. The first time was Dragged Across Concrete, where I believe there was a very similar conversation about the fact that the way the characters talk, emotion was out of the conversation, out of the words. The whole mood of that film was the same, apart from when she loses the baby. I mean, when she gets shot. Mm-hmm. For Mel Gibson and
that's very true, actually.
Vince Vaughn, very distant, very cold.
It's very much like I was saying about how we perceive like events on the news and how it's very sterile, and we don't really have much, because we see it all the time. We see death, we see destruction, we see Trump on the TV. We get used to it, and nothing really surprises anymore. And that is kind of closer to our realism than a film where everyone's happy and dancing around, like Blues Brothers.
Oh, defend it.
We're not even going to go there.
Yeah, I can see it making people cold and all that, but I just didn't. I mean,
isn't it funny, right? I'm the most happiest person. I take things with a pinch of salt. I don't let things bother me, but I love the dark shit. That's just me.
Your little vent.
Yeah.
But this was not a dark film.
Not dark, but it's very unemotional, as you say.
Yeah. It had no heart, basically.
It doesn't have no heart at all. But I like that. But
it's not like vindictive in having no heart. It just has no soul. It has nothing. It's an empty husk of a film that you can't hang nothing on. If you told me, right, we all met for the first time, and you told me your favourite film was this, I would think, well, there's nothing to your personality. It's true. If this is anyone's favourite film, it's like there is nothing to your personality.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's one of my favourite films. That's why I give it an 8. It's not one of those films I'm like, oh my god, I absolutely love this film. I just think it's really interesting and very different, and I enjoy it for being different and for being this kind of. You don't have to experience emotion in this film. You're just watching these unemotional people, and it's just intriguing. It's really intriguing to see this strange world play out.
It's a very hard film to sum up how you feel about it. Because it's like there's no emotion, so you can't show emotion about it almost.
It doesn't really fire me up. It hasn't fired me up. Like, I just think it's very poor. I think it fails on all counts. For me, it does. I will stop saying this because everyone is entitled to their opinion. For me, it fails.
Mm-hmm. I can totally get it as well. I can totally get it. I can see people really not liking this film.
But
because
weirdly,
of how detached
right?
It is.
Weirdly, well, not weirdly for you, but for me, when I went on Letterboxd last night to log it, I was like, God damn it, this film is loved. It has 8, 9s and 10s out of yin yang. It truly does, and I don't get that at all. I could get some people going 7 and 8 maybe, but the 9s and 10s.
Yeah, Francis and Dan gave it a 9.
Yeah.
Adam, what was
They
Francis
loved
and
it.
Dan saying after the thing? What they like
They
about it
loved
so
it.
much?
Dan only upgraded it to a 9 today, so we watched it 2 days ago. Francis loved it. They both loved it.
Listen,
I think it is something to do with it being a unique experience, and
Yeah.
it's not something you see every day. And I think that's why it resonates with people because of how
I don't get that
odd
though.
it is.
Just because it's odd on that one level doesn't mean that should be a film that you
Look.
love.
You love Lynch, and look how
Yeah,
odd and surreal that is.
yeah, exactly. But just because you say, "Oh, well, now I'm doing an odd and surreal film," that
No.
that's like a B horror movie being stacked up against the greatest horror movies ever made. That's like me going out with a film and some shit makeup and saying, "Oh, look, I've made a horror movie." It's the same thing. They're not anywhere in the same ballpark. This is
But
imitation.
Things work for people, and things work for other people. Like, people love the horror films everyone else loves, and people love B movies. Like, people go around watching Sharknado, and they're their favourite films ever.
I know,
Does
but
it-
those people are not my kind of people.
But at the same time, this is not Sharknado.
No, it's not.
That was an extreme comparison.
Yes.
This is a different kind of surreal. Like, you love David Lynch. People really
Would
don't
you
like
rather watch
David Lynch.
Sharknado all this? Again, Ben.
No, I would watch Sharknado because at least that was entertaining. It's a worse film. Don't get me wrong, but I would rather watch Sharknado than this again. To endure this would be misery. Felt a very miserable film.
It
That's
is
what I'm
very
saying. I
miserable.
go back to my original point. I want to watch a film to be entertained or to feel something. I've said that in episodes before. This is not new. And this,
Yeah.
I was neither entertained nor did I feel anything apart from frustration, and not good frustration. Frustration because the film just didn't do it.
That's fair enough. I can totally get it, so it really doesn't surprise me. I can totally see people turn against this film because of it.
I'm going to posit something, and this is not directed at you, Paul.
Yeah, go on.
But I reckon a lot of people say they like this film because they think they should like this film because it's like, a bit odd and framed quite well, and the way that this happened and the way that looked is like, explain yourself. You have to. If you say you like something, come and explain yourself here. Like you two have been held to account here. Fine. I would like to hold some more people to account.
I feel like this is a hard film to summarise as well. You just get it or you don't. That's it. I'm finding it quite hard to explain why you like it.
Because you didn't really.
No, you do. That's the thing. You enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it.
In
but-
2 days, you'll be down at a 5 out of 10 with me.
Oh no, no.
I do believe
It's a
that
much better
people
film
do
than that.
like to rate things high because they think to, especially if it's something pretentious.
Yes.
But I do not think this might have a tiny bit of pretentious in it, but I think it's more the facts that it is a unique experience over pretension.
It was a unique experience in that I can't think of another film that left me feeling quite so cold. Like, even things that, like Meg and Tomb Raider, for example, I'm only using them because they're films that we've watched that I've rated lower. Like, they were bad for worse than this for other reasons, but they didn't leave me cold like this. Like, I feel nothing.
I agree, like, to rate something high, it does need to, like, kind of work its way into your soul, into your heart. And because this has almost no heart in it, I don't think it can rise to that level, for me
That's
anyway.
right.
But I did really enjoy it. That's why it's an 8.
That's a good way of describing it.
Yes.
Have we finished talking about the film?
Yes. That was a very good way to end it.
It was a cold and sterile episode.
And it totally makes sense, doesn't it? Because he's a doctor. And I think that comparison is the thing. I think that's what they're going for.
That's right. Well, here, guess what? To bring some
What?
joy to this miserable little episode,
We didn't say the word.
neither of you said the word.
Oh, shit.
You
What
like
was
to
the
know what the
word?
word was?
What was it?
Beard.
Oh, he did have a good
I
one.
thought someone reference. He did have a good one. I thought someone would mention Colin Farrell's beard. He didn't. So just so you know,
Oh, I'm level.
Ben's on 20, Paul's on 20, Adam's on 19.
Oh,
All to fucking play for next week.
Oh, shit, son.
But before we get to that point, And we're going to have some reviews.
Yes.
Right, so now that leads us on to what our beautiful Twitter followers thought about this film. First, I have a review from Zoe Blacklock, and she says, best film of 2017. Barry Keoghan and Colin Farrell are outstanding in it. I agree. They're great.
That's a very big claim, though.
That's a very big claim, best film. What is the best film of 2017, actually? I would like to look.
Wells came out in 2017, yeah.
We can look
Okay.
into that afterwards. I've got a comment here showing more love for Colin Farrell. This is from Meg Embers, who says, I loved it purely for Colin Farrell. I have a problem. Yes, you do.
He is a very watchable actor. I do like Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I like him.
There's not a lot I've seen him in where I don't like him.
Yeah, I agree. In Bruges, beautiful.
His early stuff,
Bruges is brilliant.
Phone Booth, that's back in the day when he was just a mass market fool.
Yeah, but even Phone Booth, he's not dislikable in it.
No, but come on. Let's have a little bit of articulation with these people. Let's have something sophisticated.
Well, you're going to get one here from Francis Iberini. He says, I love how the camera is constantly creeping forward, like we are delving further and further in one direction towards the inevitable tragic conclusion. It made for such an uneasy feel while watching. Also, Barry, was it Keoghan? His surname?
I don't know how you say
Keegan.
that man's
I
name.
think Keegan.
Keoghan. Barry Keoghan was exceptional. Crazy film, but I loved it in the end.
Yeah, so again, more love shown. See, interesting. Our comments there either, yeah, really love Colin Farrell or love the camera work. Nothing about the film itself.
See, it's not the
Very
emotion.
telling.
The emotion kind of comes out of it.
Yes. And if you could enjoy the
Maybe the
technical
emotion is
side
told
of
through
it.
the camera work and
Maybe
stuff.
maybe Ben's the pretentious one.
Well, I'm not, because I just wanted a little bit of heart. Here's the one last thing that I wanted to say about the film, actually, and this goes hand in hand with what was just said. The fact that in that world,
Yeah.
the watch is given as a gift. I was trying to work out why a watch. And a watch is a very practical, logical, unemotional gift. It's a thing to tell time. And that's what this film is. It's a practical, logical film. It's very good craft. The way it's filmed and shot is all very exceptional. But it's very unexceptional at the heart of it. Like a watch. Once you have the watch, there it is, but it gives me no joy or no emotion.
I get a lot of joys out of watches.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What'd you say, Adam?
I said I get a lot of joys out of watches. They're beautiful to look at.
He does love a watch.
Yes, well, that's very strange, considering every day nowadays people have a phone with a clock on. I understand. I don't trust people who wear watches now. Why would you?
Yeah, I don't wear watches.
There's something nice about a watch. It's a nice feeling to wear a watch.
Because you're shackled. You know the watch is a shackle. It shackles.
Yeah, I know.
It goes around the wrist so that people constantly know time is ticking, time is ticking.
Yeah. Makes you very time conscious, but I just very much enjoy
Back
watches.
to In Time, our last episode.
There we go. Look at that for a reference. Beat that, Katie.
Anyway,
and
shall I
Lucy.
tell you what we're going to be watching next week? Or we
Wait,
have-
let me just tell you.
Look at Adam's speeding us along.
Let me just tell you, I need to tell you something before that.
Yes.
The
What
best
character are we going to be?
The best film of 2017 is Baby Driver.
Oh, yeah.
What for you?
Much better than this.
Yeah.
What about for me? What is it? Let me have a look here. I'll tell you my best film of 2017. Oh, baby. Blade Runner 2049 for me.
Oh shit, yeah, it's a good one. Good one.
Another very good.
Very good. That was a 9 for me though. I've got
Yeah, it's a
Baby
9
Driver
for me
a
as
10.
well. I didn't have anything higher than a 9 in 2017.
Aww.
Same in Same in 2018. My highest was Black Klansman. Nothing higher than a 9.
Well, this is a bit weird. I don't know why this has changed then. Baby Driver I put down as a 9, but I gave Dunkirk and Three Billboards both 10s.
Oh, your system's all fucked up.
Maybe I've changed them both to 10s recently. I think that might be why. Logan was also out in 2017. John Wick 2. Trainspotting 2.
All right, come on. Let's work out which characters we are before we place this, please.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't care less which character you place me as because they're all the same.
Yeah, they are pretty much all the same.
Make me Nicole Kidman. I want to be her.
You want to be naked.
I want to get D'd down by CF.
I'll be Colin Farrell then.
All right, lovely.
Adam's going to be the son that we shoot. He has to be.
Yes.
No, I don't like him. He was annoying.
No, you're the son that we shoot. You're Bob.
Wait, Sonny Solchek's the one, man. He's the kiddie.
I don't want to be Bobby.
You are Bob. You are son. See, you're just like our kid. You don't want to listen to us.
There we go. That's true. He never chops his hair, that one.
No. He doesn't
I didn't
actually.
get a haircut before lockdown.
You got long locks now.
And that's who we
Right, so
are.
I had a...
Now, people, if you're thinking of stopping the podcast, don't, because we've got 2 very exciting things still to come. 2 very exciting. First, we're going to place this film, and then Adam will reveal next episode's film,
Yes.
which I'm tantalised by. I hope it has a little bit of heart and emotion, because if it doesn't, I'm pissed.
He's crying.
So, we took a little step away there to count our blessings and count our scores up, and it gets a 7 out of 10. On the nose, right on the nose, just like that. And we've got 6 other films that are already a 7. And they are, from top to bottom, a Serbian film, The Gentleman, My Son, What Have Ye Done, Rise of Skywalker, Solo, and Green Book. And we have placed this killing of the sacrificial deer in between The Gentleman and My Son, What Have Ye Done.
Should I tell you what we're going to watch next?
Oh shit, son.
This is exciting, okay?
I'm exciting.
This is it's a weird pick, this. I can tell you
Let's do
why it's
this.
a weird pick. I haven't seen the film before.
He's out.
Oh,
Oh, haven't you? Oh,
this is the first time. I've been thinking about doing this myself recently.
I haven't seen the film before. I know Ben has, and I think Paul has. I'm not sure.
oh no. Okay.
It's definitely going to have a lot of heart.
Okay.
Hang on.
We have-
Let me. As soon as Paul, don't go on Letterboxd immediately because I need to hide my score, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, you think you know what it is?
No. But he says that I've seen it before, so I need to go and hide it, don't I?
Yes, but the only thing is, I feel we did touch on this film the other day on our little group chat, and you're going to get it from this clue. Ben actually bought it for me for my birthday, and I thought I was going to watch it.
Oh my god!
I was going to watch it, and I thought, why don't we watch it and talk about it on
Okay.
the podcast?
Holy shit!
So the next film is. You going to tell it?
Cinema Paradiso.
There we go.
It is, yes.
Holy
I haven't
shit.
seen it
There we go.
before.
Well,
That's a good shout,
I'm not
mate.
even going to hide my score then because you
Yeah,
both know
spoke
what
about,
that is.
We spoke about the
Yes.
score.
And then when you were talking about it the other day when you went to see it in the cinema, Ben, I was like, please stop talking about this film now. Please stop talking about it because we're going to discuss it too much. And it's just going to be...
My boys, it'd been my pleasure. And can I just say, there isn't a film that is more different in heart and feeling and sentiment.
in my head when you were saying, I better have some heart to it.
Oh Lord,
That is a great pick, Adam. Well done. I really wanted to watch it again as well.
that's lovely, man. And we will join our Movie Journey brothers because Dean and Hendo from the Movie Journey podcast recently did this too.
Fantastic.
Okay. As soon as I got it, Ben, I was going to watch it that evening, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Oh
I'm
shit.
going to do a podcast on
Well,
this.
Paul is due a rewatch based on
I
his appalling review of it. So, yeah. I look forward to this very much.
I'm going to give it the 5
Okay.
out of 10.
Don't do any of that shit, Sister Sass me, son. I swear, your film choices have always been intentionally to sass me. And the beauty of this Cinema Paradiso, listeners, is that Adam has not seen it. And I genuinely can't wait to hear your opinion on it. This is why I bought this thing for you as well, because I think
Yeah.
I would be stunned, and this is not to sway you, but I would be stunned if this doesn't get at least a 9, Adam. I would be stunned.
Okay. Yeah,
No
I thought
pressure now.
The best way to talk about this film would, after I've watched it, would be to do it on a podcast. So,
Beautiful
why not do a
things.
podcast on it?
Oh, that's lovely. Well, I've already seen it, so I'm ready to record whenever you boys.
Yeah, I was really hoping, because I know you went to see it in the cinema recently, and I was really hoping we would line up the recordings in order for it to fall in that week between.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's very fresh in my mind, boy. That's great. You want to wrap it up?
Yes, let me wrap this up now. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. You can get in touch with us at FilmbustersPod on Instagram and Twitter. You can also go to our website, www.filmbusterspod.co.uk. All our podcasts are on there, and some reviews from our beautiful in-house critics and from us as well. So go check them out. You can also
Do you want
go
to say
to
this
our...
any quicker?
I know,
No,
it's super
I-
quick.
That's
It's very quick
it's like
on
the
its
terms
way.
and conditions at the end of an advert. I felt like I was doing that.
Yeah.
And you can also get in touch with us on our personal accounts. I am at Filmbusters. Martin.
I'm at Filmbusters Bob.
Colin.
I'm at Filmbusters Ben because at least that's got some heart and character to it.
Oh, you think so? You think
well,
so?
Me, you better believe it. I'm all heart, boy.
You sounded like it. You better believe it. I've got all the heart.
You've got a face like a carved out melon, mate. You know the watermelon? That's what you look like.
I I don't even know what that reference was.
Oh, it's not a reference. I'm just telling you, mate. If you want to come at me, I'll come at you with comments too.
A carved out watermelon.
Fieldbuster.